what you mentioned in terms of the discussion of the education in terms of the reinstatement of relief for the teachers. This is not the first time we've heard that the ministry had no problem reinstating time for teachers. I believe we were spoken by before to the press and we had discussions. Given that the UT have been threatening now for some time, that's industrial action because of this issue, but on government end they're saying they have no problem with it, but they're not planning everything. From your perspective, what is your opinion on this state of affairs? They're saying there's no problem, but yet still they're not putting it in writing despite the threat of industrial action.
You know, I don't know. Yesterday, the beauty made a request to the Commissioner of Police for this action, which was supposed to have taken place today. That action had to be deferred. As a result, we got less than 24 hours notice. Don't want to say that that was deliberate, intentional, but it's strange to me that something will take place today and give notice less than 24 hours before it's supposed to happen. Now, this type of thing only does one thing in my view, that adds fuel to the fire. Teachers are only human beings, yes, but they are workers and they have rights. Those who lead and manage, I would expect that they're, besides doing what they believe is in their interest from a political standpoint, got to understand that if you care for people, you demonstrate that by your actions. And if you want to maintain a good labor environment, you want to ensure you have a productive environment, you have an environment where which people have a level of comfort and that they can repose confidence in this leadership, then you have to act responsibly. And certainly, you cannot fault the teachers or any other category of worker who believes and feels that they are being mistreated, disrespected, and still not given a proper hearing. Politicians have a role to play in society, but they sometimes, however, believe that they become demigods at some point. And they behave that way, always not realizing that the same people, history will tell you, the same people who vote you in, it comes the time that they vote you out. Because sooner or later, if you listen to the cries of people, they're not talking about what the injustice teachers. They begin to talk about the issues that are impacting on them. And they ain't care about red, blue, or green. They are talking about their own welfare and well-being. And we have to make a case that really teachers are feeling really distressed in a situation where what is a right is being arbitrarily taken from them. Yeah. That the public needs to understand that today is me and tomorrow is you. But a lot of us are being very happy when we see people pour money at us because that's what we all think. We live in short-term memories, catching at straws, and not realizing that we are all bleeding and hemorrhaging at the same time. My caution again is to say, let common sense prevail. There's no need to create an industrial relation environment that is broken and fractured when there's no need for that to take place. We saw a similar issue happening in Antigua only recently. We saw an issue happening, I think it's in Suriname, when the nurses and those walk for their rights. I think Jamaica did it recently, nurses as well, over a very simple matter, woman. Yes, a nurse being beaten by a man. I think there's something about persons who have to work a condition of service that's being removed, where teachers do not get vacation. There's nothing in the laws of Barbados that speak to vacation for teachers. People get mixed up with this thing about school being on recess. And if we legally said teachers go on recess with the children, but have a mandate or obligation to attend vacation schools, camps, do lessons for children at school, or some preparation for different things. Some of them go overseas trips with the students who they must supervise. They do a very number of things in preparation. Then if the children are on vacation, money you teachers still have to report at school for planning week. They are not home sitting down, but our public believe that teachers get this excessive amount of time. They must start fooling themselves with that. If we see it, I heard only yesterday, somebody said, both teachers got better again, another one. And then somebody called in and said, oh, it's a bad holiday. But I know about that one because Friday is not a bad holiday. And just speaking of that, the point I'm making you, at the making bread has nothing to do with teachers. Teachers still have to go through their preparations. But we must understand, if you're working in environments as hostile as these, real teachers got to be walking on sponge virtually because of threats from the students, threats from the parents. And then to be suffering the indignation of being treated poorly by their employer, and then they want more information. So I would like to think that we need to look at this thing holistically and stop trying to sensationalize it, because it's always about making it a sensational issue for convenient purposes. That's what we saw the other day. Teachers are always, we always talking about students' time. Not, students are being to school and not being educated. But because they are masquerading in Parliament yards. The children who should be in school, being given instruction, parading in a political environment that has nothing to do with them. And the government that be there should be ashamed of itself. And then you look at the union and tell the union being political. How could you dare take the people's children out of school for instruction to go and chair parliamentarian? Among you, children from the south, children from the north. So tell me what it has to do with a parliamentarian. And you know the worst thing about it, at the end of the day, when we speak to all of that, the same teachers are asked to go and supervise those children with their red flags. And we are telling Barbadians will get to meet the Iranian stuff and glorify those things. But they will not look at it objectively and say, well, what's going on here? What is my child at school learning rather than what's happening in Oxford to cheer on the parliamentarian? This is not, the union is not preaching or practicing politics. We objectively looking at what's going on because the public of Barbados is responsible for a lot of what's happening here. We are given lesson to it. And once we give lesson to it, then we can't turn around blame anybody else. We got to blame ourselves. The behavior of our parents, our adults, is blamed by our young people. And who do we want to blame? The teachers in the school, teachers in the children, teachers in doing this, teachers in doing that. But our behaviors are subliminal, dressing, carrying ourselves off, deportment, the language, the expletives that we carry as part of our children. All of these things that are happening, and our system is feeling the pinch of it. And you know what? When we start at the baseline and it's bad, it is difficult to reform going forward. And we hope that when we see the minibus drivers in ZR behaving, look at who they are. We're not profiling them, but those are many in the main dropouts. And those who won't get license, and what? They don't relate to standards, they relate to what they know, continue in discipline. And our roads are mayhem as a consequence. And then young people get into those, and adults get into them. And do not tell the driver, don't drive this vehicle at me, they say.
Yeah.
Don't drop me in the middle of the road and set in there, but park in the middle of the road and then let me get up. And I get up there and I don't tell them, hey, skipper, put me in there, buddy. Okay? You block traffic. You do all these things and expect the society to change. To be young people who get a license now, drive their one cars. Young ladies driving the cars now, pretty fast, but using a little pirate. Okay? All of this is what we are having as part of this behavior. The police goes to treat their mother, and the whole community wants to treat the police and kill the police. But they want all the police for the people to defend their cause, but they want to kill the police for taking the appropriate actions that they should in order to safeguard them. What are we asking for? We always ask that you pay the price for your indifference. And that is what the society said.
A follow-up question from that. I understand what you're saying. However, I have to ask this a very direct pointed question. Given the fact that we have seen an upsurge in violence in school like it has not been before, and taking into consideration what happened at Princess Margaret yesterday, and the fact that the ministry called an emergency meeting with those members of staff this morning to address concerns, and I know Princess Margaret is not the only school with concerns of violence and teachers being attacked and what's not. However, where does CTUSAB stand in terms of if teachers decide to take action, decisive action against instances of violence towards them? Because at some point in time, there will be straw that breaks the camel's back. And from all reports, there were 2 members of staff from Princess Margaret who had received medical attention. I know it was fine, like they, but it wasn't so bad.
We've said it before. You know, you would have heard the General Secretary. You would have heard the General Secretary even in our last press meeting, where he has said clearly that CTUSAB stands in support, and we would have said it openly. We stand in solidarity, and we stand in support of what is affecting our member unit, Barbados Union of Teachers. You know, because we have been open with our position as it relates to violence, not only in schools, but violence in Barbados as a whole. Our concern, as you would have heard this morning, being excluded when it comes to national boards of national interest, national development, and so on. We are very concerned. It's about time that government take a serious approach in terms of the trends in secondary schools and its impact, because it does not stand there. It does not finish at or stays within the secondary school confine, but it spills over to everything that we've been seeing, everything that you've been hearing and seeing in the community, you know, and this is where we stand, because we are concerned. We are concerned because if teachers are being treated this way, and teachers in our view plays a valuable role in the lives of young people, and not only that, the development of Barbados, then if we're not prepared to hear them, but we want to see results, you know, who are we fooling? Are we fooling ourselves? Are we fooling our children? Because at the end of the day, this is what we hear. And we hear that something has failed our children, whether it be the government, the church, family, community. These are this is the real situation. But CTUSAB, because of our interests and our span across the Barbados landscape, we have to take a stand along with our membership as it relates to this violence, not only in school, but violence also within the healthcare sector. And any violence that raises its head, that would have some kind of negative impact on our membership.
Any further? If there be no further follow-up questions, Mr. General Secretary, by the President, any closing remarks from you?
I just want to say that, you know, what you heard today really is a cap that covers a wide range of issues that are affecting society. CTUSAB can only make a stand because it is what you hear is our members' cry to us to make an appeal, to make an impact, and to be the voice for government to understand, clear reason that the examples, or furthermore, what the impacts that we have, and I'm not even talking with trends, the impact that we are experiencing is to the point where Barbados is saying, take action. And let me be clear that taking action for us is one where we are saying we need to be at the tables where we can help to guide policy based on a wide span of membership that are a part of us. We look this the General Secretary would have mentioned in his statement the concern whereas where allowances and for nurses and teachers and other outstanding salary issues regarding teachers, need to be addressed. And I also want to add, even for the prison service, as it relates to overtime payments as far back as COVID. These are things that impact our membership and our workers. And it does not signal a good, progressive position as it relates to government and workers. We've been hearing about these issues, and you've been hearing from us with regards to these issues of delays in payments, delays in overtime or flexibility allowances. You've been hearing these calls from us, and you've been hearing them from the organizations, individuals themselves. So we are saying that if there's a bounty, if there's an opportunity, this is a time as we look forward to salary negotiations very, very soon, that government step up in dealing with the promises that it has offered to its workers. In terms of the implementation of accident insurance for protective services and nurses. This is critical. And we might even have to start to look at teachers, if teachers are subject to this kind of behavior. So government really has to tighten its belt on its position and how it cares for its workers.
I have only just one closing remark. That is important for you to know that last time we reported to the media, the government, we spoke to the government, non-inclusion of the Congress in the dialogue delegation to the what we were hoping that we would be part of that delegation to the 130th Annual Labour Conference in Geneva. We were informed a week ago, thereabout, that the government has chosen the Barbados Workers Union to attend the conference as the most representative of labor in the country. Again, it is important to think that the National Training Center is not the most representative of labor, but it has organizations that are labor registered on the ambit. We will bring some new information to you at the next press conference. Can't get everything one time. You'll be here with another benefit next time. But we want to register to the public of Barbados that this injustice that's being perpetrated against the Congress of Trade Unions is something that has to be condemned. there's no valid reasons for the government's behavior. And it shows a prejudice, and it shows to us that somewhere in the line that the government's recognition of CTUSAB is really under the microscope. And the reason for saying that, this Congress offered the government on more than one occasions to consider that there could be an alternate arrangement where the workers drive it and the workers advise it. And the government, in its wisdom, has chosen to ignore that and to invest, I would have to say, in terms of what transpires at the end into the hands of the Barbados Workers Union. It is sad to say that that's where we are. And until somebody, I only recently saw two backbenchers in government voicing their concern about something you don't already hear, because it seems like the voice of those in Parliament are limited to about 3 or 4 persons. But for the convenient reason, we had the voice of 2. But I think people should look at conscience as people are things that are not right. Because there's no point that people are sitting in any body of representation, even within the walls of this Congress. We're at the table. If something is not right, trust me, member organization or elected officials will speak up and say, I am not supporting that, and give their valid reasons. But if you have people who will sit down knowing that something is flawed and will conveniently sit down and support it and not voice their disgust about it, then something, to my mind, is saying that this country is sick. Last the Bible said, the country ain't well. I'll leave you with that.